Does your rider get nervous on the gate? Do they, make a mistake out on the track and then just give up? Do they get nervous to the point that they mentally shut down? These are all a lot of questions that we hear constantly from parents, and I want to give you some insight on how to help them, how to help them in this area. Number one is you got to get them into a positive state. When they get onto the gate, and the second they show up on the track, their nervous system there's a war going on in their subconscious. They're seeing kids that are way faster than them showing up, people with a lot more money. I don't know, for your child, there's a million things at war with them when they get on the starting gate. And the second that they disconnect from having fun and they get out of a positive state is when they just will not perform at the level they should. And so I know we talked about this earlier, but it's so important for you to help your rider maintain in a positive state. One thing that I do personally, and I work with a lot of kids to do this, is helping them think through around the track, what's fun about the track? What are they looking forward to when they're going out there? Yeah, they're racing, 20 other kids, but, is there a certain jump? Is there a certain corner? Is there a certain section? Like, what's really fun? And so when you can get them to really enjoy the process of racing and looking forward to going out and having fun, they're going to perform so much better. Like I said earlier, when we disconnect from a positive state, we lose about 30% of our brain power. When we're in a positive state, we have 30% more brain power to go out and perform at a higher level. When you're disconnected from that, you stop thinking through like better lines. You stop thinking through about your technique. You stop thinking about, flowing. When you find your zone, you're all of a sudden you're just locked into, looking through better lines and trying different techniques when you're out there and just adjusting yourself on the bike to be more efficient when you're out there. And so that's a huge way how I manage my nerves and how I manage the nerves of a lot of other riders is it's just the mindset while on the gate, helping them have a positive mindset. The other thing is just going into the race prepared. If you put yourself back in high school and say you have a big test or an exam, if you were to go into that exam not prepared, you'd be nervous. You wouldn't be confident. And so there's an aspect of putting the time in prior to going to the race that's so crucial and important. You need to make sure that rider is putting the time in. For me personally, I have a 50 lap minimum. And so if I'm going to go race, I'm going to go to my local riding spot. I'm going to go to a local track and try to put in 50 laps and just work on technique and form. One of the biggest things here is I want to make sure that when I go to the race, I know that I've worked harder than every other kid on that gate and that I've put the time in when they haven't. That gives me tremendous amount of confidence while on that gate. And I think it can do the same thing for your rider. If your rider, regardless if they're nervous on the gate, you could be like, hey, you've put the time in. None of these kids have worked as hard as you. None of these kids have trained as hard as you. You have an advantage over all these other kids, and you're going to do awesome. Now just go out there and have fun. So, I hope you understand this concept. We're constantly trying to manage our own personal state and our own emotions, and those are just a couple tips that are going to help you in that process. So number one, go into your races prepared, and number two, always maintain a positive mindset no matter what.